ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره الكافرون. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وآله وصحبه ومن تبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Today's khutbah is a continuation and a recap of a khutbah I did on 12:30 2 weeks ago, but I like to continue with the subject, and we'll start inshallah talking about an-ni'am. And one of the greatest blessing that Allah enjoys upon His servants is the blessing of the children. When they are righteous, good deed for the parents even after the death. The Prophet ﷺ قال: إذا مات الإنسان انقطع عنه عمله إلا من ثلاث، إلا من صدقة جارية أو علم ينتفع به أو علم ينتفع به أو ولد صالح يدعو له. It means if the person dies, his deeds are cut off from him except for three: ongoing charity, beneficial knowledge, like he make a book or something, or he make something that this knowledge will continue, or a righteous child who prays for him. This is narrated by Muslim. And children, righteousness, obedience and benefits to parents, and this is how the blessing of children brings goodness to parents in this world and the hereafter. And they are the adornment of this world in this life. Al-mal wal-banun zinatul hayat al-dunya. This means also girls and boys. And the children with their favor and goodness, and while they are blessing, they are trust that must be performed as a God Almighty loves. Which is He saying, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تخونوا الله والرسول وتخونوا أماناتكم وأنتم تعلمون. So they are a gift, they are a blessing, ni'mah, and they are amana, trust. And actually when I was reading this the first time, I thought maybe this not related to this ayah, this the amana we talk about. I was surprised when it says in the second ayah, in the 28th in Surah Al-Anfal, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةٌ وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ عِنْدَهُ أَجْرٌ عَظِيمٌ. So it is the second ayah after that, it talks about, now this is all you believe. Do not betray Allah and the Messenger, nor knowingly betray your trusts. He continued to say, followed by saying, and know that your positions and your children are a trust, as a test, and that with God is immense reward. So, fitna means in Arabic, like you when you do something for somebody, you test him. So al-haya fitna, al-mal fitna. So that anything that it tests you means that he wants to see that you deserve to go to the next step, or to keep this ni'mah or this gift for you or not. And it is really a trust. I swear by God, it is a trust, because it is from the great King that the children must be protected from fire, and that those responsible for them should keep them away from every way that reaches hell. يقول سبحانه وتعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا وقودها الناس والحجارة عليها ملائكة غلاظ شداد لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم وَيَفْعَلُونَ مَا يُؤْمَرُونَ. O you believe, protect yourselves and your families from fire. People and stone are its fuel, over which are set strong and severe angels, who do not disobey Allah, what He commanded them, and they do what are commanded. Surah Al-Tahrim. So, that is to say, educate your kids, discipline them, call them to obedience to God, and prevent them from deserving punishment by guiding and teaching them. And this will be the topic and we want to talk in detail about how to deal with our kids, teenagers, how to deal with the kids when they are young. I remember a story when I was I was living in Kuwait in the high school. It was like the first secondary school, and there was a head of religions teaching in the visiting us as a visitor. And that time my leg was not feeling well, so I have a cane. And then I was sitting, I raised my hand, I have a question. He said yes. I said, I have an idea. I was a kid, and I heard about Umar ibn Khattab and those who were not Muslims and became Muslims. So I thought, if I was not a Muslim and became Muslim, I would be stronger Muslim. That's as a kid. So I said, sir, he said, yes. I said, why you force us to pray from the beginning? Why you don't let us to be 16, 17, and then we choose and select and start praying? Of course, unfortunately, his answer was not good answer. And this is what I want to talk to you about, how to deal with teenagers. What his answer to me, he said, lean more on your cane, my son. We don't need you in Islam. You pray or you don't pray, we don't care. And I was shocked. I was actually praying since I was a kid because I saw my brother, rahmatullah alayha, she was praying, and I was maybe the only one of my family at that time praying. I love praying. Actually, I love praying. That maybe this is the one which is I love more than any of the ibadah, But I asked a question, I have the right to ask a question. And this we have to learn how to answer kids, and this is which you have to be smart enough to deal with this. And I will continue and then I come back to this. Okay, and then the statement came from a messenger of the Lord, the words that a person will be asked about his parish or his flock on the day of judgment. So that, what does he answer who lost his children? What will he say, the one who betrayed the trust? يقول صلى الله عليه وسلم كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته الرجل راع في أهله وهو مسؤول عن رعيته والمرأة راعية في بيت زوجها ومسؤولة عن رعيتها. All of you are shepherd and all of you are responsible for his flock or his parish. The man is a shepherd in his family and responsible for his care, and the woman is a shepherd in her husband's house and she is responsible for her care. Now, raising children and taking care of them is a responsibility whose neglect and failure to preserve them may lead to painful fate awaiting the parents. Now, I want to draw your attention to one important thing. الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول كلكم راع, والرعاية means care. So you are a caregiver. You are not a guard. We are not guards only, if between brackets. Some people, they don't understand the meaning of care. الراعي, he takes care of the thing that he is responsible for. If you have a plant, and this is, I was expecting that teacher to give me that answer. He said, my son, if we have a plant and we put it in and this seed and then if we watch it grow, if it came tilted or not right, it's hard for us to fix it after 16 years because that tree will be not good. So we have to take care of you, and then because we cannot fix you after you are destroyed. That's the question, the answer that I was expecting or should be answered to me. The same thing I would say, when we talk about dealing with the kids and with the teenagers and with our children, we have to be careful of the definition of care, not guard. Some people, they think they are guards only. It's like when you put a guard on the building. He only takes care of the safety and security. He doesn't care if the building feels bad or bad because the building does not feel. We are not only guards. We want to take care and protect our kids smartly. We have to be very smart in handling, especially nowadays. Now, يقول صلى الله عليه وسلم ما من عبد يسترعيه الله رعية يموت يوم يموت وهو غاش لرعيته إلا حرم الله عليه الجنة. Means that there is no slave whom God takes care of who dies on the day he dies while cheating on his flock, except that God forbids paradise from him. This is general for a governor, for anybody who has responsibility. But we should also, coming back to this, we should not be stringent in applying this, taking the definition of the care. The role of the parents is very important in determining the course of the children. And just as they are a cause of its goodness, they are a major cause of its damage or corruption. And that it is by neglecting to monitor them and checking their conditions and facilitating ways of communication with them so that they become accustomed to revealing their secrets and information, informing parents of what's in their hearts. This is a very important issue. Now there's a story was said in the London Mosque. The Imam, like a month ago, he received a call from a family in 9:45 and keep calling him. So after 5 calls he answered. And the other guy on the line was a father, and he's saying like his daughter wants to leave Islam and she become a Christian. And she had 11 years in that Islamic school, and in the 12 years she moved to a public school. And what happened with her was in the 11th school in the last year, where he was, kind of shocked. So what they did, they said at that time, we took her and we bought some books for Ahmed Didat rahmatullah alayh, and some videos, and we keep, talking to her and asking her to read. And it is the Imam asked him, but by chance, his wife has a cancer. He said, when your wife has a cancer, you go to Indigo or any place where they have books, and you bought books about medicine and how to treat the patient, or you took her to specialist. He said, we took her to specialist. He said, why then, if you are not qualified, and you don't know how to handle this situation, you didn't go to the specialist. يقول سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه وما أرسلنا قبلك إلا رجالا نوحي إليهم فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون. It says before the time we never sent but men, means all the prophets are men, there is no angels, and whom we inspired. Hence, if you do not know, then ask the followers and who has the knowledge. And I have a story about one Imam. He was challenged by an unbeliever. This is an old thing in the Imam al-Arba', al-Imam al-Arba'. He was asked, he said, you said in your Quran, there is answer for everything. He said, yes. He said, I have a question. He said, yes. He said, how you make the bread, and what's the ratios you put in the bread in order to make this leaf, loof, the khubz, the Imam loves. He said, we have an ayah said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. We ask the people who are expert in this. You don't expect that everything will be detailed, but we have the answer to everything. And this is the simple thing. Now, with good intention, it's not enough to handle the situation. When you want to talk about how to take care of your son or your daughter, for that case, you have to have the tools. Number one, you have to ask the people who have the knowledge. There's a lot of people inside London or anywhere in the world. There's a lot of people who are ready and waiting for you to ask and help you in this. Now, there's a lot of things that we think we know and we don't know about how to deal with our kids. I will continue by saying that it is not easy, most importantly, that we are aware of the great responsibility placed upon us in raising our children and creating a righteous upbringing. Important steps must be followed as stipulated in the Quran and spoken by the Noble Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and based on his life and the prophets and the righteous did. Among these steps, we start with the steps that need to be taken. I have, the first one to mention is that make dua for your kids, for your people who you care, either your kids or your brother or anybody you want to take. Praying for them, guidance and goodness. So here is the Khalil Ibrahim عليه السلام يقول رب اجعل هذا البلد آمنا واجنبني وبني أن نعبد الأصنام. وقال رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء. And he raised his hands ربنا واجعلنا مسلمين لك ومن ذريتنا أمة مسلمة لك. And the same thing, the people who are, they are عباد الرحمن والذين يقولون ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. زكريا يقول هنالك دعا زكريا ربه رب هب لي من لدنك ذرية طيبة إنك سميع الدعاء. Now, I will not go into detail of this ayat, but I'm sure you understand the meaning that we make dua. I have another thing which happened in my life, a story. I have the second son, and he was different from the first son. I don't know, but it happens, that although his name is Jihad, and he was not acting in his name at that age, and he was different from my first son, and he was doing anything like we are not like him, And my mother, who used to live with us in our house after my father passed away in Saudi Arabia, she always was telling my wife, don't make dua on him, against him. Don't punish him. Make dua for him. And my wife kept just making dua for him. Now, alhamdulillah, he has 2 kids, and their name, the kids, Ayub and Yunus. Yunus and Ayub, Prophet's name. And he is the most one who now respects and me and the family and other things. I have the same thing, a brother in Germany who was not following the Islamic rules. And even when I asked the people at that time, some of the scholars were listening to them in Saudi, their opinion that if you don't pray 3 days, then you are like to be punished or killed or something. I didn't follow that fatwa, I follow the other fatwa. And we keep praying for him. Now he is more religious than all of us. And he has changed his wife, and now he has a Muslim wife, and his son is Abdullah, and he is more careful about Sunnah and follow Sunnah more than most of us. So dua is very important. And don't think that if you are angry. And the same thing, you should not dua on them. يقول صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تدعوا على أنفسكم ولا تدعوا على أولادكم ولا تدعوا على أموالكم لا توافقوا من الله ساعة يسأل فيها عطاء فيستجيب لكم. By mistake, you may say cursing on your son or your daughter, or you do something wrong, and then God accept this, and then you are in trouble, and your son in trouble. Do not call for yourself, do not call upon your children, and do not call upon your money, and you don't know, you do not agree that Allah with an hour that when He asks giving and respond to you. And also you know that hadith, even before Islam took care of that, even before you have your son, يقول صلى الله عليه وسلم لو أن أحدكم إذا أراد أن يأتي أهله قال بسم الله اللهم جنبنا الشيطان وجنب الشيطان ما رزقتنا فإنه إن يقدر بينهما ولد في ذلك لم يضره شيطان أبدا. Means that when you approach your wife and make a jima', and then at that time you make this dua, and then inshallah Allah will protect your son or your daughter from a shaitan for his life, and he will not hurt them. One of the steps, he is keen in raising children, their mercy, and showing compassion and tenderness towards them. This is the second step. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he's our example, is one of the most important things that the children need. And there is the hadith when Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein, they came in the mosque, and he was in the minbar, and then he cut the prayer, and he went and he took them, and he was trying to take care of them. And he said, when I also sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, as you know, I looked at these two boys walking and found I heeded no patient until I cut off my talk and raised them. Also, he said, I enter the prayer when I want to prolong it, so I hear boys crying. I am permissible in my prayers, which I know about the severity of his mother finding from his cry. So he reduced the prayer in order to help that mother that when the kids are crying. And there is a lot of stories about in Islam and others. Now, we come to our life here. It is important to know how to deal with those kids. And I would say, before I move to this, is the last thing after being mercy and being careness, and also we talk about that you make dua for them, is that you need to educate them. You need to praise them, and you force them to follow Islam. But is it easy to do that? No. How to do that? I would say that the best thing to do is that you know how to handle them. First of all, you need to know how they think. In order to treat any machine or any employee or anybody, you have to know how to deal with that. So, one of the things that mentioned in a book mentioned by that Imam, it says teenagers and parents, and he said it's available even in the library, and he recommends that we read it here, summarize it in here. Number one, he said, we as parents always want to feel that we are needed for our kids. And from their side, they need not to be needed. They want to feel freedom. They don't want to feel you shadow them. They want to feel that they are alone. They are smart enough to handle their life. So you have to be aware of what they need, how they look to you when you... And he mentioned a story, I don't believe it is that harsh, but it is bad, that a father, when he read that his son bought a jacket, without his permission, he tore the jacket. Okay, and it was to me it is, my mind cannot comprehend this. Okay, we have to give them the freedom to think. And I keep telling a story about my father, rahmatullah alayhi. I was having a student, and we have a small grocery, you call bakkala in Kuwait, and this has income. So he gave each us amount. He gave me 500 Kuwaiti dinar. It's like you multiply by 3 or something dollars. Okay, and it was in my account. And one friend, he's not direct friend, he was a friend or friend, but I respect him. He was high respected in the university. He was not a student. And he asked to borrow from me money to his marriage. And I felt shy that I want to give him, to help him. He said 1 month, and then I will give back the money to you. I consult with my father because the money is him. He gave it in my name. Yes, it's my money, but he said, I'll tell you what. Now he is begging you to take the money. Tomorrow, you will beg him to give you the money back. He said 1 month. If you give it 1 year, you'll be lucky. I said, Dad, he's a good man. He said, okay, I'm telling you. It's your money, I leave it for you. My father was, between brackets, a democratic father, At those days, there is not much of those fathers. And he said, it's up to you. I didn't listen to him. I gave the money to my friend. 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, nothing happened. I felt two things. I felt bad because I didn't listen to my father. And I felt bad because he deceived me. He said 1 month, and it took now 4 months. I waited 6 months. عسى أن يكون عنده عسرة, you know what it say, that he is mu'sir. And eventually, I went to my friend who is his friend. I told him, listen, I didn't listen to my father. I trusted him, but this is too much. Next month, if he didn't give me the money, all the university will know about him. I am good, very good, but I am mad when it comes to people who deceive me. I don't like this. If he said from the beginning 1 year, I don't mind. And then he gave me the money back. But I learned the lesson hard way. And this is what a guy who was like a tutor in my life, he always said, Saad, you should understand this. You don't listen, and your son will not listen to you till he tries. This is good that listen to you. You're happy, you're lucky if they listen to you, but expect that they want to try. Everybody wants to try himself. They don't want to, they want to experience this. And this is what the thing that mentioned in that experience guide. They said your experience will not prevent them from trying themselves. So you have to expect this. Number two is that they are sensitive and they are care about their image. So some father talks to their friends about their kids in front of their kids. Bad thing. He's sleeping too much. He's not. Don't mention bad things about him. Always praise him. Talk good things about him. If he's doing maybe 5 good things and 1 bad thing, ignore the bad thing. Talk about the 5 good things. This is effect. And I remember I was, alhamdulillah, number 1 on the university, in the school in that year, in the first secondary school. And my brother, one of my brothers, he was not that much good. He said always in Arabic, you are fashil, you are failure. Believe me, although I was the first student, it affected me. But I don't know. Words affect people, so careful with your words. When you talk to your son, when you talk to your daughter, you have to be careful selecting your words. Keep the word inside you, and that's it mentioned in the Quran. يا أيها الذين آمنوا, I don't remember the ayah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا قولوا التي هي أحسن إن الشيطان ينزغ بينكم. Even between you and your wife. Sometimes a fight comes for no reason. She said some word, you said some words, or you start with words, and then a fight happens for nothing. Now, we come to another issue, that the gap between us and their perception. And the most important thing I realized, and this is mentioned here, and it is mentioned in the Quran, is the example. No matter what you preach or you talk, if you are not a good example of your son and your daughter, it's useless. If you talk about don't lie and you lie, don't cheat and you cheat, don't do this and you do that, they are like the sponge. They keep watching you without notice. I am originally from Palestine. And I was even active in the student union. I never talked to my kids about Palestine that much as I was in Kuwait, because it was more into this. Now there is not much here to speak about the political issues. My daughter, I have her car with me. She has the flag on Palestine on her car. And I never preach her about Palestine, but she watched me when I talk to our friends, etc. So they catch what you talk. And the worst thing that you expect is that when you say something and you do against. Don't talk bad about Muslims, even if you have bad experience with them. And then you expect her to respect Muslims. Don't talk to her bad about Arabs, and then you expect that she will respect Arabs. Because they don't understand where you come from. They don't know the meaning of your words. They will take it literally as it is. And we have to take another important aspect, which is love. Love is the solution. And Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. If you ask me, what is the difference between Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and all the prophets and all the human beings? Is love. He loves all the mankind, alayhi salatu wa sallam. It mentioned in the Quran in many locations, in many ayahs. لَعَلَّكَ بَاخِعٌ نَفْسَكَ أَلَّا يَكُونُوا مُؤْمِنِينَ أَوْ مُسْلِمِينَ. What this means? It means in a brief that you want to kill yourself in order to have them to be Muslims. God is telling him, Allah is telling him, He's telling him, don't kill yourself. إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. So, I don't want to take much of your time. It's about 2 o'clock now. But I will tell you one thing, that we have to understand and be careful when dealing with this. My grandson, this is Ayub. He was in London, UK. And he has a story I'll tell you maybe next Jum'ah, inshallah. But the bottom of the story, at the end of the story, he's telling his dad, it is hard to be a Muslim, because he was not able to eat halal meat. Okay? And the answer, I'm sure you know that, but we'll leave it for another khutbah, that is it really hard to be a Muslim? Of course not. But I will tell you one thing, just as an example. It is not easy to be the first one number student in the university. It is not easy to be the good employee in the company. But you have to work hard in order to get this. والله سبحانه وتعالى يقول ما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج. People, they think Islam is hard. Islam is very soft. Islam is made to make this life simple and beauty, and we enjoy when we have happiness. Anyone tell you that Islam makes to make your life harder, he doesn't understand Islam. Islam is the gift for a human being if we understand it. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم. استغفر الله العظيم. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد والحمد لله رب العالمين. I hope that you guys understand that it is not easy to take care of our sons and kids and loved ones, but it is not hard if we know the solution. There is a workshop in the London Mosque on the 24th night or 25th for the same subject. I don't know whether there is a registration or not, but I heard about that. Anyone interested, you can join that. And I hope that inshallah all of us will have, may Allah protect our kids. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد في الأولين وصل وسلم وبارك على محمد في الآخرين. اللهم أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت رحمن الدنيا والآخرة ورحمهما. اللهم نسألك الرحمة لنا ولذرياتنا ولأهلنا وأمواتنا وأموات المسلمين. اللهم اشفنا واشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على عبدك ونبيك ورسولك محمد. اللهم احفظ ذريتنا، اللهم احفظ ذريتنا، اللهم احفظنا بالإسلام قائمين واحفظنا بالإسلام قاعدين واحفظنا بالإسلام قائمين. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.